my first official performance in a true art context, I guess, even though that was in a museum, was this piece that I did at Dorsch Gallery back at the first Basel Fair, which was called Le Château del Pueblo. And it was about real estate and design and social aspiration. And I wound up being the real estate agent. In fact, I think that year or the year before that, we bought a house and we'd gone around looking at houses and we had all these real estate agents. And the whole thing, I hadn't had that much experience with that. And it was just struck me as really funny because I felt like a lot of the real estate agents, you know, if you ask them a question, they would pause and then tell you not necessarily the true answer to the question, but the answer that was they thought was the most favorable. And I mean, I think that maybe I do feel that, you know, I should try to. There's an old saying, you know, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. But I mean, I think that, you know, I like humor anyway. So maybe that is the reason that saying works for me. And I say, well, I think that I see a lot of humor in things, even when I see them as being something serious. And so it's a good card to play because it amuses me, and if it works, then it amuses the other people too. As a result, I also wanted to use, because there are people who are mystics who want to be married to God, and so I wound up the union with the spirit, you know, that's mysticism. So I wound up picking, because I thought, you know, here we are in Miami with a lot of Spanish tradition related. There's, you know, there are a lot of people who are very tied to that Spanish tradition, but also you have this incredible saint, Saint Teresa of Avila, who was also a woman mystic, and who, you know, said that she was married to God. And I found out that she, you know, her father was a Jew. I kept looking her up in you know, Googling her and stuff, and there are all these, you know, it's so cool the way you can look people up, and, you know, you don't just read one thing, you read like 5 or 7. And so Teresa of Avila's father was a Jew, and he was told, like all the other Jews and Muslims in Spain at the time, to either convert or leave, and if he caused trouble about that, he would be tortured and stuff, and made an example of. And he decided, I guess he had a business, he was a rich guy, and he decided that the practical thing to do was to become a Catholic. So he became a Catholic, and apparently he bought an aristocratic title too, because then, as now, you can buy those. They're probably expensive, but anyway. So he became de Avila, and his daughter was Teresa de Avila, but she, I don't know if she was born Jewish, but her father was born Jewish, and she became this Catholic saint. And said that she was married to God, and she actually described having a kind of a spiritual orgasm with God. And Bernini made a sculpture of it. So I had her teachings, I whispered her teachings, and they came out from under the dress. I had a lot of fun with that. Because, I mean, she's just, I mean, you know, it's another version of union. It was a perfect one for my purposes. And I think that we're living in a time when things are going to change. I don't know how they're going to change, but I don't think they can stay the way they are. I don't think that the way art is disseminated can stay the way it is. I think it's too much of a commodity, and that somehow, maybe conveniently in some areas, has a kind of a negative effect on its effectiveness. So the message becomes, this is expensive, and this is cool, and this is an investment, instead of what is the art saying about us and our time, and what are its aesthetic and spiritual and social values.